Hey, everybody, welcome back to another live episode of our podcast where today we have some really special guests. I'm your host, Joe.
I'm Jen.
And today we have some really amazing people. We're going to talk about a 20-minute deal breakdown. Today we have Bianca and we got our co-host Cisco in the house. So welcome, guys. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thanks.
For having us. Thank you. It's a pleasure.
So today we're going to showcase, Bianca, is this your very first deal?
It is my very first deal with you guys.
Yes. Wow. Giddy up. So awesome. So can you give everybody a little quick snapshot of who you are?
Yeah. So my name is Bianca. I'm from the Bay Area in California. I'm a registered nurse, have been a nurse for 11 years now, which is crazy. I'm like, where has the time gone? But yes, I've been doing real estate investing for about 1 to 2 years-ish. Pretty much started looking in Arizona and Ohio, but I'm not pretty much open to any markets as long as the deal makes sense. But yeah, I've done like one small flip. I did buy a home for like a long-term rental. So those were like my initial deals. And then this first big deal with you guys is this home that we just closed on.
Bam. And I don't know why nurses just rock at this. It's just what it is. I don't know, but
it's the reality of the job.
The ability to bob and weave, right? And just handle the circumstances presented to you.
Yes, pretty much.
Well, in that job, it's pretty intensive. The things that you come across, the things that you see, the things that you have to deal with. And I feel like that registered nurse, you're that person saying like, everything's going to be okay. We're going to take care of this. We're going to help you through this tough time, right?
Yes, you have to be able to work well under pressure and not be easily affected by things that you're seeing, because you see so many things, people that are yelling at you. You're at risk for different diseases, people being physically, it's a lot, but you just have to keep on moving because that's all you can do.
So what was that transition like getting into real estate? Was it pretty close to the same or?
Oh, no. Real estate is much more calming.
Oh, good.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Some days I don't know about that. I feel like I'm in an ER room sometimes.
But still, for sure, a learning curve because I'm super new to real estate in general. Like just the idea of houses, I was like, I don't know anything. So of course, it's something that I still have to kind of learn, and a learning curve in itself. So that it has its own challenges too.
Well, and that happens quite often. And many of you probably have seen Cisco already from previous podcasts. But Cisco, can you give us a quick shout out on who you are and all that good stuff too?
Yeah, I'm Cisco. So I've been investing coming up on a year, not quite a year yet. But I'm out of Iowa doing business here in Iowa. We've also moved out to doing some stuff in Tennessee. And we actually just closed a nice virtual one in Pennsylvania, which is really cool. So I've been investing for about 10 months now. Honestly, my background before this has nothing to do with real estate. Nothing. So,
I'll tell you, Cisco went from 0 to 100. Like you put in the work. So, that's really exciting, guys. And this is why we have you both here together, because this was like a team effort, and we're going to break down the details of how that went. So, initially, Bianca, you found this seller, or did the seller find you? How did you get in touch with this seller?
Yes. So I did post the famous Jen and Joe blue ad. Does anyone have a house to sell? ... So I posted that in a Facebook group in the Waterloo area. And a seller did reach out, and he was like, hey, I have this home that I no longer live in, and the home does need a little bit of work. So I am debating on whether or not I should fix the home myself and sell it, or if I can just sell it as is. But honestly, I don't want to do all the work and put in the money myself. So I'm leaning more towards just selling the home as is.
Wow. So Waterloo, what state is that in for some of our fun friends that don't know?
Iowa.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So that's not even close to you, right?
No. I pretty much was just looking for different places out of state, because we all know California is like crazy expensive. So I was just looking, different areas, and Waterloo was one area that interested me. So I was posting some ads there, and that's how the seller reached out.
So how many times did you drive or fly to go see the house?
0.
Okay. You never saw it.
Haven't even been to Iowa.
So you're doing deals there, but I haven't been there. So, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So you're chatting with the seller. He saw your Facebook post about how you buy real estate and you're looking for a deal in the area. The seller reached out to you, right? You didn't cold call him or go knock on his door. Obviously, you've never been there.
Nope.
And then all of a sudden, now you guys are chatting about a deal. You're finding out what's his why. You're finding out the situation, right? And then how can we help this person out? And it sounded like, you know, you got to move some dirt to find the gold. So there's many times where maybe we can't find a deal. But in this situation, it looks like the stars aligned and you could connect and actually help this person out. Is that right?
For sure. Yes. Definitely.
So on this deal, was this a deal where they would do like seller financing, or was it where they wanted to do a cash offer? What kind of deal was it?
So initially they were open to seller financing, but the seller had consulted with his partner at the time. And for personal reasons, she was very against terms. So he had to follow what she wanted. Understandable. So then he was like, I was open to terms, but because my partner doesn't want to do it, I can't do terms, but I would be open to a cash deal, which is what we settled on. And the lowest he stated that he'd be able to do was the $55K.
Okay. So we were talking terms, and I remember this because he originally was like, yeah, I would do that. And then he chatted, was it his wife or girlfriend or whatever that was? And she's like,
yeah.
And she's like, nope, I want to be done and let's do cash. But then they give you a really big discount, right? For the cash offer. So what did you do with that deal?
So we locked it up and I brought it to our support group and talked about the deal. And you guys were like, oh, hey, like there's this really awesome person in our support group named Cisco. And he's actually from the Waterloo area. Like you guys should totally connect because, you guys might be able to work on the deal together. You may know some people. So that's exactly what I did. And in comes Cisco, so supportive. Yes.
Well, Cisco really became a leader inside of our small group coaching. I think probably because he's been through it now, right? I know when we met Cisco in the beginning, had a ton of leads, had some challenges to get through, worked through every single bit of it, right? And there's always things that pop up. So it's not about what happens. It's about how you handle it and how you keep moving forward. And that was the one thing that my wife and myself were huge fans. Many others were huge fans of Cisco because even through challenges, he didn't lose his smile. He didn't stop fighting. And he kept moving forward. And it was super powerful to see that because it's so easy to quit. It's so easy to join something and I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to get stronger. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And then after like 4 days of it not working, like, oh, this doesn't work. I'm just going to throw in the towel. Right. So we knew that was a super powerful connection because he's boots on the ground. He lives in Iowa. Right. And it was a trooper. So what was that like on your end, Cisco? So I connect you guys with Bianca and you're chatting about this deal.
Yeah. So Bianca reaches out. She introduces herself. She's like, hey, I'm Bianca. I'm from the group. I've got this deal in Waterloo. Can you take a look at it? And maybe you have some buyers. And so I said, yeah, sure. And what's funny is I was actually looking at the time, 10 properties because there was a gentleman that was looking to sell his portfolio. So I'd done a lot of, running numbers and learning the area in that time. So I took a look at it and we chatted about it. And I said, all right, well, let me send this out to some buyers and see what their feedback is. Let's get some real world feedback. I said, but I think we might have to get this a little bit lower, right? So I sent it out to my buyers and, I got a couple guys reach back and, they're like, no, I need it lower. I need it lower. And so I reached back out to Bianca and I said, hey, this is the feedback, they need it lower. If we're going to be able to help these guys, what's the situation with the sellers and everything. So we kind of went back and forth and she told me what their number was and, that they weren't really wanting to move off of it. And I said, all right, well, we're here to help people. And the only way we're going to be able to help these people is, at a certain number, right? We don't promise things we can't deliver on. I said, so just let them know that, after looking at the property, digging more, deeper into it and into the repairs and everything that, we would have to be a little bit lower. And she was very proactive and like literally just went and did that. And she amazed me. And the whole time I'm just like, and I just kept praising her. So I've been a diabetic since I was 12. So I have a super soft spot for nurses. I was like, you're a nurse, a wife, a mother and your baby is a tiny baby, cute baby, right?
Mhm.
I said, you are a freaking superhero. You're just missing your cape. So you can do this. Yeah, and I just kind of gave it to her and gave her the reins and just waited to hear back and see what she had to say, or what the seller had to say.
Well, I'll give you a shout out there because you're spot on. Because when we first met Bianca, she was like pregnant for her baby. During middle of coaching, she has her baby, and I'm like, "Hey, you're really busy, brand new mom. Like, you got a lot of stuff going on. Like, you could take some time off." And she's like, "Yeah, cool. Like, nope, not going to do that. I'm going to still continue and still work at that." Right. So, like, add that. Like, as guys, we don't have to have that like if our wives do, but like that's a lot, right? So the fact that she still weathered through it, bravo.
Well, I think it gives you a stronger sense of why, when you've got the little ones relying on you and that this is all for them. I mean, and ourselves, but it pushes you in ways that I know before kids, I didn't know it was possible. So
exactly. You just keep on moving. You just find a way to make it happen.
Yep, absolutely.
Well, we're all parents here.
Now.
Hey, we're real people. You might hear screaming in our house too, because I've got 2 little ones as well. So it's pretty normal. So I think you're obviously you go back, you have the conversation with the seller, you kind of reconvene.
Was that as scary as it? Because some people would probably just throw in the towel there. Well, no, it doesn't work. I'm not even going to try. So what was going through your head when you had to go make that phone call?
At this point, I feel like I was a little bit comfortable because I've been talking to sellers quite a bit. So it wasn't as nerve-wracking because I feel like I'd had the practice because you guys always push, if you want to make a deal, you have to keep on talking to people, keep on talking to people. So that was what I was trying to do as much as I can, right? So I felt it wasn't too bad. It wasn't too bad at all, especially having the support of you guys kind of laying out like what I should say. So that helped a lot.
Okay.
Well, also too, on the flip side, the house was definitely not as nice as he told us it was too. It definitely needed some more things than were disclosed to us or to our contractors, right? But we found out either way, we fixed it, right? So we fixed the problem. We put the deal together. Some help from Cisco. So what happened next? So you reconvened, you talked to the seller about a new price. Cisco, did you bring in some buyers in that deal?
So I did. I brought in a couple buyers, but so when I had told her to, we've got to do something else about the price, it really took me back to my first deal and how I felt. And I said, look, if you make this happen at this number, this is going to be a good deal for you. I said, but I know this area. I know Iowa. I said, I really want you to feel that, that your first, your proof of concept, right? I said, so what I'm going to do is I'll help you out. I'll give you some advice, but I'm going to make you do everything. So you have to call the seller and get the number down. You have to call the buyer. And so, I had brought my buyers and like I said, they weren't interested before. And when I shot it back to them, they really didn't, have much to say. And I could have sent it out, but I really felt that, from my first deal, like the more you do on your own, the more you're really going to learn this. So just hit me up if you need anything. And I'm going to see to it that you get this to the finish line. Let me know what you need. And it was just like I said, it was incredible because it was just like, hey, this is what you got to do. She'd be like, okay. And she'd go do it. And I'm just like, what? That's incredible. So
coachable and teachable.
Coachable and teachable, spot on. And this is what's so easy. Like if you just say, hey, go do this, and you go just do that.
Yep.
Right. But you helped, and that was tremendous. And you're able to put that deal together. So Bianca doing some hustling there, right? So it wasn't all easy. You had to work your job. You're married. You got new baby, and you're talking to the seller and talking to buyers. How much time do you think you're putting into this deal? Was it a lot? Were you doing a lot of?
God, it's kind of hard to say. Really not
trick question.
I'll be honestly, really not that much time, you guys.
Yeah.
Because I spoke to the seller. It takes a phone call is like 10 minutes. Do a support group call. And I speak to you guys for 10-15 minutes to talk about the deal. Talk to Cisco takes 5-10 minutes. Talk 2 hours 3 hours.
Right.
not that much to be honest. Yeah
Well, that's what we love hearing that, because so many people think it's going to take 25 hours a week to get a deal done, And at the end here, it just takes those little snippets of time to carve out and have those meaningful conversations.
Yes, exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. Yep.
So, Bianca, question: what was your biggest challenge that you were faced with on this first deal of yours, like this one, and then how did you overcome that?
I think the biggest challenge was, what Cisco had spoken about, how, he had reached out to sellers. I had posted the deal on Facebook Marketplace and we weren't getting a lot of hits, right? And his buyers were seeing that the number was a little too high. So I think the biggest challenge was having to work through that and find, okay, well, what is our solution going to be? Obviously, it would have to be reaching back out to the seller to negotiate and see the lowest number that he can come down on, which is exactly what we did. And we were able to come back down on that number, get a number that would work for us, and eventually we ended up closing on the deal.
Yay. Great job. Well, and I think too, once we discovered there were maybe some things that weren't disclosed, and maybe he either knew it or didn't, but when you come back to the seller and say, actually, we found out that it needs this, and that, and this is why we're kind of talking about re-looking at the price, because we didn't anticipate this. It's somewhat of an easier conversation rather than, I just need a lower price, right? Like you come to some facts, you kind of explain the situation and make it make sense, guys. And I think that's the key. So, well, thank you for Cisco for, obviously being so helpful on that too.
And I think he was extra helpful by not doing it all for her. And I love hearing that, especially as a former educational, teacher in the public school systems and now just, coaching here in general. It's like when you truly are teaching someone, they have to be able to go through those things so they can experience it themselves and come out the other side. Like I did it, right? Because it's way different if Cisco had done all the call and Joe had done all the work and cool, you did a deal. But now Bianca, Cisco said, put that superhero cape on and be like, yes, look what happened.
Yeah. Yep. And that was really it. And like I said, it was just so breathtaking to just see somebody just take that massive action. And it was just like, wow. And I think what it was for me was just like I remember my first deal. I knew what was ahead for her, right? Once she got this deal, I was like, you're going to grow, you're going to break out of that cocoon. And so that was it's more of an abundance mindset thing too, right? Because I could have totally been like, yeah, let me take this back. Let's really push this to my buyers and get this sold and let's split it. But what I did instead was, and I still kept her on the line and I checked up with her, weekly and just seeing how things were going. And so we still kind of had that in our back pocket, but it really was just you got to break out of this cocoon on your own. And the more, you can do it on your own, the way easier the next one's going to be. Like with mine, the next day I had my second one locked up. Right. I was just because it literally was I wiped something clear of my eyes and I was like, oh my goodness, I can see now. Right. So it was just really cool. And I wanted to see that, for her. And it was awesome because, she tells me, hey, we're closing on this. And the next thing I see, I'm like, wait, you're on Facebook and there's another property here. What? So yeah, it was really cool to see that. And again, it's that abundance thing, right? Because there's deals everywhere. There's so many deals everywhere. I was just like, no, let's make sure you get yours and we'll do some work together here in the future.
Well, and it's such a cool story. That's why I'm glad that we could share this today. And it's really refreshing to see the complete circle of even yourself, Cisco, where you came from. 1 year ago, you weren't even with us yet, right? Still had your job and all this. And then you get into our program, get a deal. And now you're also contributing and helping others make deals. So team, right? Team. Yeah. It's about having your village. And your
this
village
community is just incredible.
And that's the key to it, is having your village of support. And that's why we had to have you both on here to talk about this, because it was really just a cool story of teamwork, right?
Because we could have easily been like, oh, well, here you go, Cisco. And I'm too busy, right? Head down and gone. But that's not the type of person you are. And that's why we just love having you as a true leader in this community.
That's why everybody looks up to you guys tremendously. So last question, and I know, everybody's got their own, but what was your number one piece of advice that you would give to somebody who's just getting started, Bianca? We'll start with you.
I would say take that messy action, you guys. And I get that phrase from both of you, right? Take that messy action, because really only action breeds results. Things are going to be messy in the beginning. You're going to fall. You're going to, run through a lot of problems. You're going to feel anxious. You guys know how I feel with being in my cocoon. But look, little by little, I'm feeling more comfortable. You just get back up and you just keep moving forward, honestly.
Boom.
But the only way you can do that is if you act, if you do.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And you're a natural. Cisco, what's your advice? Somebody just getting started, what kind of advice did you give them?
Yeah, same thing. You just take that first step, just take that action. And I mean, really work through those fears. Really aren't fears. Forget about the outcome. As long as you don't care about the outcome and you just act and just continuously take action, you're going to get some real positive outcome out of that. Just keep pushing forward. I mean, let people know, what you're doing. Don't be afraid. That was the biggest thing for me starting. Like when I first posted on my personal page, hey, I'm buying houses. Anything everybody knew about me was that I'm an artist. He might tattoo, he might paint, he does this, he does that. Never was it real estate. And so finally I took a deep breath and I said, I don't care. And I posted it. And that was that. And I continue to do that. So forget about the outcome, take action. The only person that is in charge of your happiness is you. And the only way to get there is to do the things that you really enjoy. I mean, just keep doing it.
Thank you both so much. And really just shedding light on that, Cisco, because I think I hear that number one from so many people is just how do you post on Facebook? How do you not worry about what other people are going to say or think? And like you said, you just have to take a deep breath and say, I just don't care anymore.
Yep.
Well, and you guys are both like spot on examples of this, because I know when we worked with both of you in the beginning too, like breaking out of that shell of like, but what's on the other side of that is really amazing. Like, cool, the checks are great, but you guys actually helped people, which is cool too. Yes, you did make some money, which is a great thing too, but you're helping people, you're making money, and you're growing as a human, which is really, really cool too. Because I know Bianca was a little nervous to come on here today.
Very much. But look, I did it. Oh my God.
You did it.
You're right.
You guys are awesome.
And we're going to be doing this a lot more because A, both of you are superstars, and B, it's a ton of fun. And I think it's refreshing to people to see that, we're all a little scared. We're just grown up, but little kids inside still, right?
Yeah.
And grown up little kids. So.
Yeah, no one is just a real estate investor. Like, we've all had like previous lives and done other things. And whether it's like, nursing background or artistry or photography and the dealership world. I was a teacher, right? But here we are, and we're all able to figure this out step by step, taking that messy, massive action.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, you guys are rock stars. Thank you for joining us today. We love you both. We love you both being a part of our community. We're so lucky to have you guys on there. And thanks for joining us today to talk about this, to share this example, to break down that deal, the blue ad, what we post in a Facebook group. It works.
It works.
You're getting leads, right? It didn't cost you any money for that lead. You chatted with somebody, did it virtually, had some help from somebody inside the group, and now you got a nice check from it. And now I know we've been talking about other deals since then. So this is just the beginning, guys. There's a lot more to come, and we're really super excited to share. So bravo to both you guys.
Yeah, thank you again for coming on, guys. So if you want more of this, make sure that you are subscribing to Creative Finance Playbook on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify, where we are breaking down deals every single week with clients all over the country. Stay tuned for more, and we'll talk to you soon.
See you guys. Thanks for joining.
Bye, guys.